Hello guys and welcome to Watch Crew. As a child, I only knew 3 watch brands: Rolex, Timex, and Seiko. The first was an out-of-reach fantasy. The second could be purchased at the grocery store or found in Christmas stockings. The third was everywhere I looked, from the clocks at school to the big screen and on my grandpa's wrist. But how did Seiko win over the hearts and wrists of my grandpa and Arnold Schwarzenegger? And what makes the brand so beloved from generation to generation? The below list of the best Seiko watches will begin to answer those questions. From dress watches to tool watches, this selection of historically significant timepieces demonstrates why Seiko continues to be the time-tested watch of choice the world over. Let's start with the star of the show, the case. Generally speaking, if there was a single feature to Seiko watches that keep bringing me back, it's their case design. This is as true for vintage pieces as it is for the modern ones. Their cases have their own language, one that is more creative and evocative than what typically comes out of Switzerland. Rarely are slab sides found, bevels are broad and aggressive, crowns are offset, and undercuts make the whole thing more wearable. The 77 case is a perfect example of this, managing to mix size with style and ergonomics. Measuring 44mm by 50mm by 13.1mm, the 77 is not a small watch. In fact, I'd go so far as to call it quite large on paper. Yet, due to a mix of proportions, curves, and design features, it wears and looks smaller than those dimensions would indicate. One detail that works towards this end is the 20mm lug width. At 44mm, 20mm is quite narrow, which is an effect of the massive lugs. The result is that the watch appears to taper dramatically, creating a thinner overall line around the wrist. The 77 is powered by Seiko's 6R15 caliber, which you'll find in other mid-tier Prospex divers such as the SPB53. The 6R15 is a 23-jewel automatic with hacking, hand-winding date, 50 HR power reserve, and a frequency of 21,600 beats per hour. In the end, the Seiko Prospex SPB077 MM200 is a bit of an odd bird. On the one hand, it features one of the best diver case designs I've tried. It successfully takes the cool geometry of the famed 6159 Marine Master 300, slims it down so that it's far more wearable, and cuts the price significantly while at it, making it more accessible than ever before. The Seiko 5 Sports GMT is a versatile and practical watch designed for travelers, adventurers, and anyone who values a timepiece with multiple time zone functionality. Any enthusiasts who have handled the 3-hand Seiko 5 Sports line, or the SKX Dive Watch series that preceded it, should find the 5 Sports GMT SK5K1's case familiar. For this series, however, Seiko brings a raft of more premium style touches to the familiar form. Like so many Seiko designs, the 42.5mm wide stainless steel case wears far smaller than the numbers would have you believe, with a wearing experience that feels far closer to 40mm than over 42mm. As with the 3-hand 5 Sports line, this largely comes down to the rounded, dramatic undercut case sides, which minimize the watch's actual contact patch on the wrist, while the polished finishing of the case sides helps to visually mask the effect. Beyond these case sides, the rest of the case is almost archetypical for Seiko sports watches, with a tall, heavily knurled rotating bezel, short rounded brushed lugs, and a sizable 4 o'clock crown with flowing asymmetrical guards. The bezel insert, on the other hand, moves the 5 Sports GMT past standard Seiko 5 territory with a striking visual flavor. Rather than the familiar aluminum dive bezel insert, the 5 Sports GMT SK5K1 uses a 24-hour insert topped with a transparent ring of Hardlex mineral glass crystal. In conclusion, the Seiko 5 Sports GMT is a reliable and versatile timepiece that combines practical GMT functionality, automatic movement, and affordability. The new reference pays homage to the original Seiko 5 from 1968 with the case, bracelet, bezel, and dial. It even recreates the original Seiko 5 logo. This means the dimensions are smaller than the modern Seiko 5 case. The SRPK17 measures 39mm in diameter, 43mm lug-to-lug, and 12.5mm thick. The case is faithful to the original, with radial brushing on the bezel, scalloping at the lugs, and drilled lug holes. The bracelet is also in homage to the original and wears thinner than the modern 3-link Seiko bracelet. The clasp is a double push deployant, also different from the standard Seiko 5. This all makes the bracelet flexible and comfortable, a fun addition to the SRPK17 that sets its heritage inspiration over the top. The vintage-inspired details of the dial are also well executed, starting with the Seiko 5 logo at 12 o'clock, which is much better than the confusing modern Seiko 5 emblem. The matte black dial has a silver-grained outer track, and the red seconds and blue sports are both soft hues, lending to the whole retro-futuristic vibe of this late 60s homage. The bezel is friction-fit and bidirectional with fat, silver-grained numerals and markers. Overall, the Seiko 5 Sports SRPK17 embodies the essence of Seiko's commitment to producing high-quality timepieces that are accessible to a broad audience. Whether you're a seasoned watch enthusiast or simply in search of a reliable and stylish companion for daily wear, the SRPK17 proves to be a compelling choice within the Seiko 5 Sports lineup. The Seiko 5 Field Sports SRPG27 is a versatile and rugged automatic watch designed for outdoor enthusiasts and those who appreciate a durable timepiece with a classic field watch design. The 316L stainless steel case has a matte, bead-blasted finish that resists both reflections and scratches. At 39.4 mm in diameter and 13.5 mm in height, it's also suitable for many wrists. There's a curved hardlex mineral crystal that's not as scratch-resistant as sapphire, but more than adequate for the price. The same material is used for the exhibition caseback, and I have yet to see a scratch or mark on either side. The crown is rather flat, especially compared to a khaki field model, but is still easy to use for winding time and date setting. It doesn't screw down, but the case is still water-resistant to 100 meters. Black dial watches can be hit or miss with reflections, even with anti-reflective coatings, but this Seiko 5 Sports SRPG27 handles it well. I never had a problem clearly seeing the dial outdoors, and photographing the watch was easier than expected. I believe part of this is due to the dial's texture. This model comes with an oyster-style stainless steel bracelet that matches the case well, although it has a slightly more satin finish. And props to Seiko, it's the same price as the Neo strap variant. In conclusion, the Seiko 5 Field Sports SRPG27 is a reliable and affordable field watch designed for outdoor enthusiasts and individuals who appreciate a rugged yet classic timepiece. The Seiko 5 Sports SRPD51, part of Seiko's iconic 5 Sports collection, is a versatile and stylish automatic watch known for its durability, functionality, and affordability. Good for Seiko for keeping the crown at 4 o'clock. It's in their DNA. It remains unsigned. This time Seiko finally smartened up and milled a few rings on it. The polished, unsigned crown bugs me on everything from the SKX to the Marine Master 200. Flip the case over and you'll see something unfamiliar, the movement on display. The Seiko wave is gone. The other new trick is the drilled holes in the lugs. It was one of my favorite changes to the 5 Sports case, making strap changes easier. The 46 mm lug-to-lug of the case should be something that you expect. It's a double-edged sword. The 13.5 mm case height makes the 5KX sit deceptively tall. If you're down with the SKX aesthetic, you'll hit the ground running with the 5KX. A few concessions had to be made to keep the price down and to incorporate the display case back. Gone are the days of ISO 6425 dive watch certification. To keep the 5 Sports at an accessible price point, Seiko used their in-house 4R36 automatic mechanical movement. You might be more familiar with this caliber movement referred to as the NH36, as Seiko sells the same movement to outside companies under a different reference. In conclusion, the Seiko 5 Sports SRPD51 is a reliable and stylish timepiece that combines classic design, automatic movement, and affordability.